All right, good morning, everybody. Nikki Burnett here, Taste Life Nutrition Radio and Podcast, streaming live on KUHSdenver.com. I hope that you will be able to hear me okay. My voice makes me sound a lot worse than I am. So at least today I can talk a little bit. This is going to be a really super fun show, and it's way outside of anything that I am used to or even know anything about, which is part of the problem, to not know anything about a topic. So we are going to talk with Flat Earth Dave, and this is going to be. I'm excited because this is way outside of my world. We have already talked. He knows, as I know that he's probably used to this. I don't get it. I have grown up that the Earth is round. That's how it is, and really, I am one of those where I just didn't question it. But part of this discussion and why I wanted to bring Dave on and have this conversation was because his goal isn't to change everybody's mind, but to inspire critical thinking. And I went, yes, please. That's what we need more of. We need more critical thinking. Unfortunately, we've got a lot of sheep. And so thank you, Dave, for being here. I'm really super excited to have you on.
Thanks for having me, and maybe I am here to change everyone's mind. I'm just telling you that I'm not, okay?
That's great.
And you made the comment that you never really thought that the Earth could be like this, right?
Right.
But the thing is, the people that laugh at flat Earth laugh at it because of this. This is not flat Earth, but this is what they want you to think flat Earth is. That way you'll laugh at it and go, flat Earth is stupid, I'm never going to look again.
Right.
This is not flat Earth. But if you Google flat Earth, Google's going to serve you this picture from the Flat Earth Society, which is not who we are.
That was something I wanted to ask you about. So let's give it just a second, because I do want to learn a little bit about, the reason behind the Flat Earth Society. Excuse me, I can do this. But of course, as always, we start the show with gratitude, because I fully believe that gratitude can change the world. We need a lot of that right now. So, Dave, what are you grateful for?
How much time do we have?
As much time as you want, as long as it's within an hour.
I'm grateful today for critical thinkers and people that are trying to free their mind from the matrix.
Yeah, I think that's good, and I think it's important. We have to think outside the box, and I think that we've been shown that over the last few years. So fully agree with you. I think I'm going to continue to piggyback on what I've been grateful for the last couple of weeks, because it just seems to be getting better and better, and not everybody agrees with me, and that's okay, because that's what makes the world go round or go flat, right? Whatever floats your boat. But I'm so grateful for this place that we are, where we are prayerfully about to see a big opening of our healthcare system, what it looks like, what it should look like, what it needs to be, and not what it is currently. I think that there are huge problems with it, huge censorships, lack of questioning, too many agendas, and we are again, prayerfully moving toward a direction where that's going to change. I don't care what side of the aisle you're on. This should be exciting for everyone, and if it's not, that's kind of where the problem is. But I'm super excited. I'm excited for this change. I'm excited for where we're going, and pray that we just have the ability to keep moving forward in this direction that I view as just incredibly positive. So that's what I'm grateful for today. So,
awesome.
Yeah, it's good stuff. Okay, so let's do this. I like to kind of start with the background. You probably haven't always believed that the world or the Earth is flat. So let's talk about what brought you to this place, and kind of what excites you, what motivates you, because you are all over the place. Not in a bad way. Like everybody, like people who don't believe know you, I think.
Yeah, well, I'm doing my best to spread the word. I'll try to keep it short. I was born. I'm in the East Coast. Where do I live?
Connecticut.
Very good. That's not the test question, by the way. And I went to college, I went into corporate America, I worked in the printing industry for 20 some odd years, and then I left there and went into the solar power industry, and then I left the corporate solar company and started my own company, and it was doing great, but then my truth journey kind of got in the way with my corporate earn as much money and acquire things dream, right? Because I was like the typical American, I wanted things and money. And when all of that came to me, I had an opportunity to walk away from it all and have just enough money to pay my monthly bills. And I did that because I felt that the Creator was calling me to spread this message. Why does Flat Earth matter? With the healthcare industry the way it is, with child trafficking, with wars, with all this stuff that's going on, why am I spending all this energy on Flat Earth? Because Flat Earth is, the globe is the foundation of the lies. It's how they get away with everything, right? And when you'll find out, jumping way forward, there's two things that all of the warring nations in the country agree upon. Nobody can independently explore Antarctica, and everybody's got to get the jibby jab stuck in their arm, right? They all agree on those two things. Yeah. So the answer to your question that you're going to be asking is why? It's about controlling the human population. So it's not the shape that matters, it's the lie that matters, and it's our position within the lie. So how did I come here? I was doing a podcast called Deep Inside the Rabbit Hole, looking into all of the deceptions of the world, the big ones, New York, Boston, and others. I don't want to trigger any people and poison the well on this discussion, but people started sending me Flat Earth stuff. Dave, have you looked into Flat Earth? And I was open-minded. We were looking into all the conspiracies. Delete, delete, delete. Oh, you posted again? Ban for life, ban for life, ban for life. And I wouldn't watch a 1-minute video. I'm like, that's just too stupid. But then my good friend Sophia Smallstorm, who made one of the documentaries she made was called 9/11 Mysteries, that helped wake me up to that deception. She's like, Dave, you got to look into this. And I was like, I couldn't believe that she was asking me to look into this. I'm like, are you kidding me? So I went in with a closed mind. I'm going to disprove the flat earth, prove the globe, and shut all of you idiots up. And for 2 weeks, I didn't sleep. I tried everything. I went out in the field. I got a super zoom camera that came out at that time, and I zoomed in on a buoy over 10 miles away from just like 2 feet off the ground. It should have been behind more than 60 feet of curvature at that distance, according to the globe math, right? I didn't even know the globe math, right? And I'm just like, all right, something's wrong with the math. And I went to the debunking sites to see what they say about it. And they're like, oh, you got to cut that in half because the buoy's halfway down and you're halfway down. Okay, 33 feet of curvature, 30 feet of curvature. I still shouldn't see a 10-foot tall buoy. And I could see it, and I could see the surface of the water beyond it. So I'm just like, maybe the Earth is bigger. And so then we did calculations on some of the sightings that we could see, and the Earth would have to have a radius that's a line from the center to the surface of over 4 million miles. When they tell us the radius is less than 4,000 miles. I was like, well, if the radius is different, then everything about space is different, everything. And so everything just kind of fell apart there, my entire world belief. I took a lot of astronomy in college, and I loved it. I was great at it. I was awesome because I could memorize and regurgitate everything. Okay, it was perfect. And so it came to the point where I had to make a choice what I was going to do with my life, and I couldn't do both. And so I sold out to my partners, and I left the company, and here I am talking to you as Flat Earth Dave 10 years later, talking about we're at the center of creation and God is real. When before that, I wasn't even sure if God was real.
So I love this, and I love, because I heard you say this, I think it was on Alex Jones, who I love, but you were talking about how prior to this point you were atheist. Is that correct?
Atheist is a bigger religion than any of the major religions because you have to believe in some crazy, unsupported stuff. I mean, like my eyeballs, like I'm looking at you on a computer screen and I can see through a window, I can see trees in the distance, I see the sky beyond that, and I can make out all of these depths and colors and everything and sense it all, and all of that's by random mutations. It's so stupid. It's so stupid. It's like walking up, you walk into a city, you look at this building, a 100-story building, and you go, there was no builder. It just happened.
It just happened. It appeared
It just
with all
happened.
the windows and everything and the carpeting.
Yeah.
It's just perfect.
And that's not even compared. That entire
Right.
building and all the systems don't compare to the human eyeball, let alone everything else.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
So the bottom line, I'll just jump to the point here, is the way they control us, you can't control people that have a strong faith in God. It's harder to control them. So they put you in system. You have system A Big Bang, which could have been random or God could have done it. So, but you still have a choice. Then when you discover that the earth is intelligently designed, there is no Big Bang, you have no other choice but to understand that there's a creator. There's no lack in faith. Now you can have also, who's the creator, what's your relationship, that's your own business, right? But when you come to understand this, there's even a quote, a passage in the Bible that basically says, once you see my creation, the earth, you can no longer deny my existence. And that's the truest statement I've ever heard. And so that changed who I am, and everything in life changed.
I love that. I find, we talk about, these big miracles, the earth is a miracle. And, we see miracles every single day that prove God. It's birth. It's, the fact that two people can create babies. And this is something that I love so much, so it's always top of mind for me. I'm like, we create little humans, and we have the ability to impact our health in everything that we do every day and for generations ahead of us. And so you know epigenetics, you know the term epigenetics and what it means, yeah. So epigenetics, in my mind, is, it's God's gift of free will. It's just this amazing, go ahead.
Yeah, no, that's it. So that's what people say. When you wake someone up to flat earth, depending on how they go, what about ships over the horizon? What about seasons? What about sunsets? What about time zones? You explain that, they go, well, what difference does it make? I still have to go to work on Monday, right? And then you explain that difference to them, and they go, well, I'm only one person. I have to support my family. What can I do? I can't do anything. That's not true. So we have God-given free will, and they can't take it from us unless we agree to give it to them. So it's a thing called revelation of the method, and that's where the elite always tell us what they're going to do. They're not allowed to put a bear trap buried in the leaves in the woods without putting a sign up going, hey, there's a bear trap in here, right? They always have to tell us in some way, and if we're too stupid to see it, then that's our own fault. That's how they get by the karma. So the elite can never admit the earth is flat, because if they do, then they have to admit it's created. Then they can only make laws that go by God's law, natural law, right? But if they put us on a ball and then we buy into it, we have to play by their ball field rules, and then they control us with their fake money, and they basically they own us, and then they keep us in fear, false evidence appearing real. And then when you're in fear, living in a prison, right? The ball is a prison for your mind. Then you just give up your God-given rights, and you give up your rights and let them, willingly. What I'm trying to say is, if I can say it, you give up your God-given rights and let them choose for you. Right. And that's your own thing. So this is how I see the earth as a ball. It's literally a prison. Remember the Truman Show? I want to be an explorer. And the teacher pulls down the map, goes, oh, everything's been discovered already, Truman. And that's where you live if you live on a ball.
Interesting. Going back just briefly though, is where we fully agree is we are so controlled by fear, and I think that was so well proven with the whole COVID thing, right? We're in fear. We're going to follow, the science, which science is now no longer science. It's, instead of it being, science was curiosity. Let's see what happens. Let's have these studies and understand and see what the outcome is, instead of, oh, I have an agenda and I'm going to make the outcome what I want it to be based on my own agenda, which is hugely problematic. And so we have come to this place of, well, we live in this fear place, and so we don't move forward. We're stuck. And I think we speak the same language, even, some, like the whole globe thing is, still so far outside of my understanding, but that's okay. It's, we are sitting in a jail cell, essentially. We're sitting there when we are living in fear because that's what they're telling us that we're supposed to be doing is fearful, 6 feet apart. We can't touch, we can't see, we can't do, we can't go. And that's what we do, and we just follow along with it.
Hey, since this is going live, I want to mention something. Do you know who the Bollingers are, Ty and Charlene Bollinger?
Yeah,
They do the truth about cancer.
Yeah.
They're doing a series right now where they air it. It's a 9 days in a row. Today is episode 9 at 9 p.m. Tonight it comes on. It's called Propaganda Exposed. I have it on my Facebook, last night's episode, and it's free until 9 p.m. tonight. This episode is the one not to miss, number 8. Okay. So if anybody wants that's listening after this, go over to my Facebook. It's on my Facebook, David Weiss, but I'll put it on the Flat Earth Podcast Facebook page also.
Cool.
It's covering everything you're talking about.
That's awesome.
And yeah, it's really good.
This morning, and I didn't get to read the article, but this morning was my husband said, there's an article that came out. He said it's really long, and I was in the middle of prepping for the show and that kind of thing. But it's talking about how there was it's an intention to make us fearful of the sun, right? So the whole skin cancer thing. Have you heard about this? Have you read it? I think it just came out, so I don't know much about it.
I haven't heard about it, but I've always said that they invert everything. The sun gives you cancer, and skin and commercial suntan lotion prevents it.
Yeah.
Look at the ingredients in there. They're on the top of the carcinogen list.
Yeah.
Right? I never use suntan lotion.
No.
Ever.
I don't either. People think I'm crazy. And so this is a topic that I hit on as often as I can is, the sun gives us life. The sun is life. We have to have the sun. So anyway, I want to do a couple of things. I do want to, you kind of, which is really funny, a little while ago, you went through the whole list of questions that I have, which are going to be your basic questions, which some of this I think is important, is to hit some of these basics and then, have some fun with it. So the things like, one of them is, everything in space that we look at, that we think we're looking at, however you want to think of it, is spherical, right? It's round, so we think. And so why would our Earth be flat as opposed to round or spherical?
Well, the question is everything spherical, right? So I'm trying to it's how our eyes see. Remember our class where they show you perspective. The sky ramps down, the ground ramps up, everything goes to a vanishing point. Mm-hmm. And that's how we see. So take a look at this, if I can find it. One second. Where did it go? There it is. All right. Where did it go? When you look into the distance at anything, it squishes it to a circle, right? It appears to be a circle. Now, don't get me wrong. The lights in your ceiling could be circles. Look up at your ceiling. Right? But doesn't make the floor a circle. And your floor, the earth is not a light, but everything in the sky is a light. So, here it is. Okay. I'm stalling as I'm talking.
Okay.
Right. Okay. So, is this the sun rising or the moon rising or setting? Either way. What would you say?
I mean, in my mind, it looks like the moon.
Yeah, that's because I gave you a false binary, like, hey, we'll vote left, vote right. But if we zoom it forward, we can see that it's a train.
Yeah.
And the lights aren't even circular. We got blue, red, straight, long lights. But you bring it back, everything goes into a circle. Mm-hmm. So when we could spend the rest of the show talking about the circles in the sky, planets and stars, and how they would be impossible to see. Now, when you go outside and stand, you ever see in a park or in front of a Target, they have those big cement balls, right? You've seen a big cement ornamental ball, right?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, it blocks a road or whatever.
Yeah.
And they're pretty shiny, they're smooth, they're reflective, right? But when you're standing next to it at noon, does it blind you? No, it's just lit up because the sun's hitting it. But when we look at the full moon in the sky or Jupiter in the sky, it's super bright. Mm-hmm. Like, how does it reflect light and then that light travel all the way to our eyes and not even get dimmer? How could it be that bright? right? The moon, as you get closer to something, it's called the inverse square law of light. Every time you cut the distance of something in half, it gets 4 times brighter, right? This is just a law. This is the way it is. And so if you went halfway to the moon, it's 4 times brighter, halfway again, 16, halfway again, 64, halfway again. And when you're 100 miles from the moon, it would be 60,000 times brighter than we normally see it. Now, the moon, twice as bright, pretty bright, 5 times as bright, 10 times as bright, might be as bright as the sun. 60,000 times brighter is what it would be required to be for us to see it. The moon, I can read by it, and it casts my shadow on the ground. Full moon on a clear night in the middle of nowhere. How is that reflecting light? So that's a problem. When you talk about space, space is Narnia. It's impossible, right? High pressure next to no pressure is impossible without a barrier. If I said, hey, we're going to have a barbecue tonight, can you bring over the propane? But I don't want you to bring it in a container. I just want you to bring it, okay?
Right.
Can't do it, right?
Yeah.
Now, if so we live on a lumpy rock surrounded by smooth water that has to curve, that doesn't curve because it's measurably flat, surrounded by high pressure air, adjacent to a void, a vacuum of no pressure, space. That's what they tell us. Why doesn't space pull all the air right off the earth? Because gas violently fills the available space everywhere, in nature, in labs, everywhere, except on Earth. Okay? And so the only answer that the globe zealots have is, well, gravity's holding it down. There's a pressure gradient. It gets thinner and thinner and thinner. That's why at the top of Mount Everest you can barely breathe. And then it gets thinner and thinner and thinner and thinner until there's nothing. That's the only excuse they have. Well, I can prove that wrong. Because the vacuum of space is a vacuum that we can't even create here on Earth. It's called the Tor, I think, 17 vacuum. They can make like a Tor 10 vacuum. And NASA has a chamber. The walls are 10 feet thick, made of steel and concrete. And they can only get it down to, half of that vacuum, right? They can't even get all the air out, otherwise it would just collapse, right? So I can take, with the low pressure of my mouth and lungs, a straw, and I could pull water and air up and away from gravity with no effort, right? The tiniest pressure difference, the water and air come up. How come the vacuum of space can't do that?
I don't know.
No, and here's the thing. I'm going to talk about things, and you're going to go, I'm just not smart enough to figure that out. I don't have a degree. No, this is what you're going to think. You're like, you know what? I have to leave that to a guy in a lab coat with a pocket protector who used to be a comedian.
Leave it to
right?
the experts, yeah.
Yeah, and that's deferring your authority, your God-given common sense to perceived experts, right? But if I wrote the book of BS this thick, and I gave it to everybody, right? I gave it to 100 people, including you, and you studied it for a semester, and then at the end I tested you, and you got 100 on the test, right? So now I'm going to give you a certificate
Master
that says
BSer.
are credentialed in BS. And then when you're talking about BS with people, if anyone challenges you, you go, where's your credential? I've got a credential right here, right?
Oh.
Right?
That's
That's
true.
what, that's what school is. School is indoctrination, right? They don't teach you how to think critically. They teach you how to memorize and regurgitate. And if you do it well, you could become a teacher for the next generation. So teachers are not lying. They're just great at memorizing and following orders. And not questioning.
Yeah. It is fascinating. One of the things that I try to make sure that I'm telling, each client and patient who I work with is I'm going to tell you everything that I know. I'm going to tell you everything that I've learned, everything that I know to be true. Science changes. You have to do your research too. So I want you to question me, and I want you to question everything. Not everybody can do that. Well, I mean, they can. It's a matter of time and interest and so forth. But it is important because I want people to question me because it makes me better, and I want people to question the science. And I say it on this show day in and day out that science changes, and we have to be open to the new information, the new data. Right, and
you have to.
Yeah, go
Go
ahead.
ahead, sorry.
No, I'm done.
So you have to be careful. What is science?
Right.
Science is word. If you say, well, science tells us that space is real. What science? Not the word science, that's just a word. You have to actually cite the science. You have to testable, measurable, repeatable, independent variables, right? There is zero science that supports the globe, and there is tons of science that supports flat Earth. Things go into three baskets. Only works on a flat Earth, works on a flat Earth and a globe Earth, or doesn't work, or only works on a globe Earth. And guess what? Nothing goes in that third basket. Nothing. There's nothing. For 10 years, I've been looking for something to put in that basket. And the only thing I thought I could put in there is a circling sun in Antarctica could only work on a globe Earth. Now this is more advanced, but now that I'm understanding what, how the sun is an optical thing in the sky, it could work on a flat Earth. But again, globers do this. The diehard globe trolls who will show up in your comments. They're going to show up and just go look at their channels, and they have zero content. I call those the globe proof channels, right? Because there's zero content, right? They're going to all show up. They're going to say, I'm a grifter. I'm trying to sell a $3 app, And the app just basically helps you get by the censorship and teaches you a ton of stuff. So getting beyond that, it's where was I going with that point? I just lost the point. What were we just talking about this before that? I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I think we were just talking about the Antarctica, the sun being an optical thing in the sky.
So again, they love looking at the lights in the sky to prove the shape of the floor. So if I was going to come and and put carpeting on your house, and I only measured the lights in the ceiling, you'd probably scratch your head like, what's wrong with this guy, right? And they also only like quoting people that were 100 or 1,000 or 2,000 years. Eratosthenes 2,000 years ago, he figured it out with sticks and shadows, And they don't want to look at any real world data. There's tons of real world data. So your next question.
Okay, so I would say I'm going to go with so if we are in a plane. Or we are skydiving, which I don't do, and I prefer not to go in planes, but I do all the time because I want to get to where I want to go, right? You tend to see a curve, right? I've even been, which I think you kind of hit on this a minute ago, but I feel like I've been in the really tall buildings, or where you, and you start to see that there seems to be a curvature of the Earth. And so
you think that, but this is a balloon at 127,000 feet.
Okay.
The Earth is spinning at 1,000 miles an hour to the east below. So this balloon was up for 3.5 hours. It should have landed 3,000 miles out in the ocean in the west, but it actually landed 80 miles east of where it took off from. And if you look at the horizon, I don't see any curve.
No, I don't either.
Right? The curve that you think you would see isn't actually, if the Earth was a globe, you wouldn't see curvature like you think that you see it. And let me show you how this works. So when why I'm looking, just look at this. This is the Suez Canal. It's over 100 miles long. There should be over a mile of curvature, but it was built on a data line of with no curvature, and it just goes on and on and on. There's no curvature factored into this at all. So when you're looking out at the water, well, here's another example. This is a flat hallway, and you got these reflections of the light, and then this is flat water, right? If the Earth was curved, right? There's flat, and then the curve, there would just be a point of light. So that's just one thing right there, but it's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for, here we go. So where is it? Okay, here we go. So if this is a person standing right here, okay, and is looking out, you can only, everything comes together, the horizon comes together when you just can't see any farther. That's called your horizon, also known as your horizontal eye zone, horizon.
Okay.
right?
Okay.
And you can see the same distance, whether it's 10 miles or 100 miles, I don't care. So you can see the same distance in all directions. So that's curved. So if you drew a straight line across there, you could say that's Earth curvature. No, that's just your limit of your vision. If you put a hula hoop over your head at eye level, that line is your horizon, but it's curved. But it's not a sphere, it's a curve. And that would be the same on a flat Earth or a globe Earth. Right? It would be the same on a flat Earth or a globe Earth. And so you would never see left-right curvature as a hump, but you do see in the same distance in all directions. So, and also when you're looking through a plane window, you have that misunderstanding. So you will see a curve, and also the windows are curved. And that will curve the edges a little bit, and your brain won't see it. Your brain won't notice that the windows are curving, which is helping your preconceived notion of the curve. So here's another example. So we're here at the water, and we're looking out. And now in this picture, you don't have the full view, but it looks curved. It looks curved just from sea level, right? So the horizon appears to be at your eye level. That's also another falsity, right? And so I drew this red line here. And now a top-down view, so this would be the horizon, we're looking down, and let's say this is 10 miles or whatever number. That's how far he can see before the sky meets the ground. Well, are these the same length? Or are these longer? You don't see to a straight line, you see in a circle around you. This is how you see. There's your curvature, and your programming will stay globe.
So fascinating. Okay, so I think that we would probably both agree that today, not everybody's going to agree with this, that's okay, that today a lot of what we would at one point consider conspiracies are really not conspiracies. And so one of those things might be, which I'm not saying one way or the other because I don't know, the landing on the moon. So is it safe to assume that you believe that there was no landing on the moon?
Do you believe there's no landing on the moon?
Well, that's what I've been told for 50 years, that we landed on the moon.
Yeah. So, and the thing is, you never really looked into it. And if you try to look into it, the stuff that they'll feed you is complete total nonsense. Remember, you ever watch like a basketball team when they win a tournament, or guy that makes it to the top of Everest and the world's record? They're pretty excited. These guys went to the moon, played golf, rode a dune buggy, and this is them at their press conference. Looks like somebody said, if you say another word, we're going to kill your dog and your wife, right? And they didn't. The press conference is super, super telling. And then you also have to understand, like, they wore these suits. There's no pressure on the moon. Their suits would explode in no pressure, right? The suits would explode. Because, go look up on YouTube to say, things in a can in a vacuum chamber. They explode when you take the air away. So this is a guy putting his hand into a glove that's in a vacuum chamber. So when they evacuate the glove, it's a little hard to see it here, but let me just jump forward. The glove fills up and he can't even move his fingers. But on the moon, they have dexterity. They're wearing snowboarding suits it's so stupid, right? It's so stupid, right? And then you also have to believe that this is the LEM. This is the lander. Look at this thing. It's made from paper mache. It's got tape. It's got silver tape. This is a close-up of the actual photo allegedly on the moon.
What?
Right? That's it. If somebody sheetrocked your basement like this, would you pay them?
No.
Okay? All right. But people haven't looked into it. And so this is, where is it? So this is the LEM taking off and then filming. You ever see a shadow that remains crisp like that? That's the shadow of them going, no, shadows disperse instantly as you go up and away, right? But that's what they show us, right? And there's so many things. I want to show you another thing first before we get off of this.
Yeah.
Right. This is proof that we went to the moon. That's the Earthrise. Right. Do you have good Photoshop skills? Because you don't need them to do this. Right. This is the actual photo that they gave it, but they'll never say photo. They say image.
Yeah.
NASA never said photo. Yeah.
Interesting.
Right. So I just made it here. Now we have a giant Earth because the Earth should be bigger. Right? Because when we see the moon, the Earth should be 6 times bigger than we see the moon, right? And so I actually am on the moon, and so I said, you know, why don't we have 2 Earths? Okay? I mean, I did this in 10 seconds without Photoshop. Okay? I did this on PicMonkey, the free version. Okay? Right? So these things are ridiculous. And then people say, what about the other countries that go to the moon? This is India landing on the moon last year. Did you see this?
I didn't see it, no.
This is India. Look at this. Do you remember Atari from the 1980s?
Yeah.
Okay? Maybe you don't.
I do, yes.
Okay. People that believe in the moon landing have never looked at the moon landing. Look, let me show you the India moon landing. This is the video of them going, oh, first, what shape is the moon? Is it egg-shaped? Okay? This is them landing. All right, I'm just going to jump forward. Yeah. This is them landing, right? And that's it. That's all they showed. And people are like, oh, my God, India landed on the moon, right? India landed on the moon. This is amazing. Amazing, right? This is the Prime Minister of India. So he's watching this video, and look, this is what they showed. This is what they showed.
Huh.
Did you see that?
Yeah.
Now, people go, well, that's just a graphic representing the data that they were getting. Okay. Well, why don't you tell us that, right? This is the only proof they have that they landed on the moon. He starts waving his flag, like everyone's cheering, yay! That's all the proof that they have that they went to the moon, right? And then they well, what about the rover, right? That's real. So here's the ramp that the rover went down. Is that a rover or is that a briefcase wrapped in tinfoil? Okay, right? This is a real video in a studio. Okay, it's so people are so easily they can believe anything. They'll just believe anything. So again, I don't know what else to say there.
No, it's good. So is
wait, one more. I want to show you one more.
Okay.
All right, this is where you can use your common sense. Okay, so here's the guy. The light's over here. His shadow over here. His shadow goes out here. The rock shadows are going out. Where's the sun? Sun's over there, right? The sun's over there. Yeah. Of course. Right? The only source of light on the moon is the sun. Right? Now watch. Sun's over there. We're going to just pan to the right, pan to the right. We're going to pan to the right. We're not going that far yet. And now the sun is behind me. Right? The shadow's going that way. Right? And now we're going to just pan to the right a little bit farther. Not that much farther. We haven't gone. Whoop. Now the sun is over there. Look at the shadow. How did the sun get over there? How did the sun get over there? Right? And so now I'm just going to go to the middle here. So watch here on his reflector. I see 2 lights right here. There's 2 lights. And when he turns his head, you're going to see 2 more lights. Ready? Here he goes. He's going to turn his head. Now watch carefully. So there's 2 lights reflecting. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay?
Okay.
What could possibly cause that? Could it be something like this? Now, we have a whistleblower on my app under are all scientists and pilots and astronauts in on it. There's a whistleblower on his deathbed that told when they filmed it, where they filmed it, and who was involved. And he named 15 names. And he had to wait until he knew and he gave it to Bart Sobral, and he had to wait until knew he was going to be dead before he could let that information out.
Yeah, I know that this is, becoming a bigger and bigger topic at this point, and we hear, I can't remember who it was. It was one of the guys, well, was it Armstrong? Who said, well, yeah, it just never happened. There's a video.
No, that was Buzz Aldrin,
Thank
the
you.
guy who became an alcoholic after he did the most incredible thing ever. He's
Yeah.
like, the little girl asked him, how come he
Yes.
never went back? He goes, well, because it never happened, and that's the way it happened, very, cryptic. And there was a Russian astronaut that was asked in an interview, do you think the Earth could be flat? And he was thrown back. He goes, well, I didn't expect that question. He goes, I can assure you it's flat. No one's ever been to the moon. Right? He said it, but it's in Russian, so Americans don't care.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah. So, is it safe to assume that you're a fan of Elon Musk?
Fan?
I don't know.
Now here's the problem.
Okay.
I think that according to the official story with the election the way it went, we are in a great position. Everything that they're telling us, if it all comes true, that we'll have a new America. Elon Musk is 100% faking space. And if I prove that to you, which I can, and I'm sure you want me to, then you have to know that President Trump is teaming up with the guy that's faking space. What does faking space have to do with flat Earth? The entire moon landing and all of the space stuff is to make you believe you live on a globe, because it is the most important lie the elite have. Because if everybody woke up to flat Earth tomorrow, all the governments in the world, all the institutions would just crumble overnight. They would just not exist. Because people would unplug from this control matrix. So Elon Musk is faking space. 100%.
Interesting.
There's an entire section on the app, if you hit the question mark button, and there's a part called the ISS, which includes SpaceX. There's tons of videos on there that'll show you all of their screw-ups, right? If you catch them on the space station faking no gravity with wires and green screens once, is that enough? Is that enough to say they're faking it? Yes. But what about 100 times? Okay?
Wow.
Right? And so we catch them all the time. We catch SpaceX doing some incredible, really, really bad stuff. And then when you look at Elon, I mean, you see his Halloween costume? Did you ever see this?
No.
This is his Halloween
costume.
costume.
But I don't know what it is. Ew.
It's Baphomet. It's literally Baphomet on his costume with an upside down cross.
Wow.
What is that?
Yeah, that I have not seen that. That's unnerving.
And if you look at the X logo, right? Mirror them. They love mirroring stuff. There's the Freemason, symbol. Okay.
Fascinating. Okay.
Yeah, it's and then his whole Tesla in space. Did you see that nonsense? Remember that when he shot his Tesla in space?
I didn't see that. I guess I need to watch more.
But you know that he shot his Tesla Sportster in space, right?
No, I didn't. I didn't know he did that. I knew he shot a rocket into space, but not his Tesla.
Oh, he does it. He sent his Tesla into space, right? And this was one of the photos from the Tesla showing the sphere Earth. Now, if you ever look at the space station, they barely show any curvature from 250 miles up. He's only 70 miles up, and he could see the whole Earth. How's that possible?
So are you saying that he's supposed to be in his Tesla orbiting the Earth?
This is not him. This is a dummy.
Well,
okay.
Okay.
And it was, and here's a video of it. So it was launched and thrown out, and so here's the Earth. Weird that it barely showed any curvature there, and then go out a little bit, and so this was a glitch where we saw the studio for a split second when they launched it. But let me I think this is the video that'll show you. So this is the car orbiting the Earth. Right? They want you to believe this is real. Right? How do you see that much curvature at 70 miles up when the space station at 250 miles up sees barely any curvature? People are like, well, what about the shadow, the reflection of the Earth, right? You've seen what they can do with green screens, right?
Sure.
They could do reflections, they could do amazing stuff in real time, right? This is supposedly in space. and people believe it.
So funny. Yeah, I don't know. I missed that one. I have my nose stuck in lab results, I guess, all the time. I don't know.
Right,
okay.
so-
yeah, go ahead.
Good. No, I could go on and on and on about Elon. I could show you a rocket launch from Elon that if I didn't tell you it was Elon, you would say that's from a horrible B movie. Nobody would believe that. Why did you show it to me?
So crazy. So fun. Well, I don't know how fun it is, but it's interesting to say the least. But
Yeah.
let's.
It's concerning that Trump is partnering with Elon. It's concerning. It screams a lot of fakeness. But now, who knows? Who knows if maybe they are really behind shutting down the deep state? Maybe they're playing the game to free the world, and we hardly can tell what's at risk here. So, who knows?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Certainly, it seems like has the potential of being better than it was. But you're right. I mean, I think that there are always surprises, and some really, really big surprises that come down that just sort of blow your mind a bit. It's all just fascinating and really freaking scary. I think one of the things that I want to make sure that we hit on, is that if this is a flat Earth, what you say is that there is ice around the outside around a portion of the outside of it, but then there's more land outside of that. So we only know this part within this ice, so we don't fall off because there's an ice wall. Am I getting that right?
So you don't need to speculate what's beyond the shoreline of Antarctica to prove the Earth is flat. But I do like discussing what's out there. There's tons and tons of evidence. There's old books. There's all sorts of stuff on the app. If you go to the book section and you go to the More Land tab, there's some great books out there. The Navigator Across the Ice Wall, The Iron Republic, amazing book. The World Beyond the Poles. These are older books, so some of them are older, that discuss this in depth. But if you want to, I'm trying to find a video here. If you want to understand, what's beyond the shoreline of Antarctica, it's interesting that they never let us go beyond 60 degrees south unaccompanied. There's no free and independent exploration. So if this is the Earth right here, this pink line is 60 degrees south, and no one is allowed to go out there with extra fuel, without permits, and so if all of this is Antarctica, you could say Antarctica is bigger than the rest of the world, oceans and continents combined. So the question is, what's out there? What's out there? So, maybe this is like another top-down view, right? So there's the world. We live in this pond. The Antarctic ice wall, which is just the shoreline of Antarctica, is what contains our waters. Water needs containment. So this was a map that was found in a Buddhist temple, 10 centuries old. It was published in 1910 in the Hawaiian Gazette, January 11th, what does that say? 1907. And it's got like all these extra continents out here. Mm-hmm. And then there's so many things that we've come across that kind of make us wonder what's going on out there. Let me if we got a minute, I can show you something which I love showing.
Yeah.
And this is I can find it. So you can go on websites and track ships, and these are all the cargo ships in the world, right? And we saw a ship that was, how does the ship get way in there? This ship right here, 730 miles inside of the shoreline of Antarctica, which would make it almost 2 miles above sea level, right? Antarctica is the highest land on Earth. If you compare the average height of every continent, Antarctica is over double number 2. That would make sense that it's the shoreline of our pond. We live in a pond that is level, that is All of the oceans are a giant pond, right? So just zoom out, it's a giant pond, right? And so we found another one 905 miles in. Now, that would be 2.37 miles above sea level. So when you say, how did it get there? Well, this is the map I just showed you, right? And if you took that map and wrapped it around a basketball, all of this gets shoved to the bottom of the ball, and they say, well, that's Antarctica, and you're not allowed to explore there. So now you're in a prison. You see how they made the prison?
Yeah, so, but I thought, so you're saying that, okay, so you're saying that we're not allowed to explore there. Are you saying that nobody has explored there?
You're not allowed to explore there. The Antarctic Treaty, which they discovered in 1959, I think it was right on there, they made the Antarctic Treaty, and all the countries in the world end up signing it, saying nobody can independently explore there. You can't independently explore there, and you can't virtually explore there, right? What do I mean by that? If you go to, let me show you. If you go to, where is it? If you go to Antarctica, where is it? Where is it? All right, here's let me just show you this. So this is what they want you to believe the edge of the world is, but this is the edge of the world right here. This is just the shoreline of Antarctica. It's like, excuse me, it's like 200 feet high. And, you know, this is not flat Earth. This is flat Earth. This is the shoreline of Antarctica. And then there's mountains that are taller than Everest in Antarctica. And they call them Dome A, Dome B, Dome C, which is weird, right? Here's the only video I could find about Antarctica. And this is the shoreline of some people that were leaving Antarctica or following the ice wall. This is huge. This is a cliff, and that's the plateau of Antarctica, and it just gets higher from there. So, what I wanted to show you is the average height of Antarctica compared to all the other continents is there, which is, you got to say, it's interesting. So let me get back to where I was going with the ships. So I can find it again. Where'd it go? Here it is. So, all right. So we clicked on one of the ships, and normally it tells you all the information about the ship. It tells you who the captain is, where they're going, where it's registered, information on the ship, and the only information given was that it was registered in the nation of Kiribati, or Kiribati, but spelled Kiribati, right? And where is that? So you Google it. It's in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. I had to put a pin on it because it's so small. And you zoom in, it's literally a tiny little sandbar, right? It's not, I mean, there's some people there. It's very, you know, only this part is populated over here. And so it's Kiribati, that's how you would pronounce it, but that's how it's spelled. So this is interesting. So if we look at the ships that are all docking there on their gigantic pier, oh, and America and China and Vietnam and all those other countries say, oh, it's a very important trade route. Why would a giant ship, you know, the ship that we clicked on, it said it's 850 meters long, 80 meters wide. That is a gigantic ship. I've never seen a ship that big, right? Why would it have to stop there? Why is that a trade route? What are they getting? Sand, right? And all of these ships, the only thing that they say, it's hard to see, it says that their destination is either unknown or Christmas Island. You get into the whole Christmas thing, Santa, Satan, right? Child trafficking, who knows? We don't know. It's just weird that these ships are all docking there. And so where am I going with this? So if you look at time zones, right, on a ball, their time zones are North Pole to South Pole, you draw a line, and then you draw 24 lines, like sections of an orange. And those are all the time zones, right? That's how time zones work on a ball. You're aware of that. Mm-hmm. And so here they are, all these straight lines are the time zones, except this line here, which is zigzag. And I always wondered, like, why do they have this crazy zigzag line, right? This goes across 3.5 time zones. And right there, in the most suspicious spot, is Kiribati. Weird, right?
Yeah.
Weird, weird, weird. So we started making videos about this, and just a few months ago, they changed the name of Kiribati to Kirimati. And now when you search it, it takes you to the other side of the world, to this island, right? Where Kiribati is all the way over here, and it changed its name. It changed its name to Kirimati. It changed its name to Kirimati now.
So, forgive me.
Isn't that strange?
It is strange, but I think I'm not understanding.
I'm going to finish the point.
Okay,
You're going to
great.
understand in 1 second.
Okay.
How many time zones are there on the Earth? There's 24 hours in a day. How many time zones are there? You got 24 sections of the orange, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's it. How many time zones are there? 24, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's 24 time zones. There has to be.
Yeah.
Okay? That's not true. There's 19 time zones in the north, 24 in the tropics, and 32 in the south.
Huh.
That's because the world gets bigger as you go out south, right? So there's all of these time zones. So the question is, where are those ships that are in the middle of Antarctica going? And I'll show you. They go. If this is the map, right? If we unfold the map, spread it out, right? Here, what if there is a trade route that goes out here to the outer lands? Maybe they're trading tuna fish or computer chips or weapons or children, right? We don't know. But that's why so if you took this and folded it together, this ship will show up in the middle of Antarctica. And that was a glitch in their system. I think they fixed it since then, but we've seen many ships out there. So there could be ships going from here, out here, from here, out here. Now, if this was extra land or extra territory, somebody lived on here, on the extra terra, what would you consider them?
Extraterrestrials.
From where?
From
the outer space.
Yeah.
From the outer space. Now, that's reasonable. This is just 10,000 miles, 20,000 miles away. That's far, that's close.
Mm-hmm.
Day trip in an airplane, right? Right? So this is just very, very close. The closest star that we have to our solar system in the heliocentric model is 4.5 light years or 25 trillion miles. Do you think that 25 trillion miles is navigable by anybody or anything? Just so you understand, I say this in every show, how big is 1 trillion? So let me ask you a question. How long do you think 1 trillion seconds is?
I don't know. It's a lot.
If you guess it within a day, I'll give you a Bitcoin.
Okay. Okay. 1 trillion seconds is a year.
Do you want a year, a couple days? Do you want to add a week up to that? No? Just 1 year exactly?
A year and a week in 2 days.
Very close. 31,000 years, okay? 1 trillion seconds, think about this, is 31,000 years.
That's crazy.
So we were in a rocket ship going at a mile per second, which no one has ever gone that fast, and we traveled for 31,000 years. We're only 1/25th of the way to the closest star. We got to do that 24 more times. Ridiculous. So I am good friends with Elon, and he's going to give me a rocket that goes 100,000 miles an hour. That's awesome, right? And it never runs out of fuel, okay? It's only going to take us 28,000 years to get to the closest star, okay? Now, do you think that some alien, luckily enough to be in our sister star, because the other ones are magnitudes farther, comes here and crashes in Roswell, or did they just come from out here, whoop, right to the outer lands, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
What's more likely? What's more likely?
That's a great question.
Yeah. So, again, all your listeners listening, and you, don't believe anything I say. You need to go verify everything.
Yeah.
On my app, the Flat Earth, Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app, the frequently asked questions section will answer everything. Here's the challenge. I offer 3 Bitcoins for 1 globe proof, but before you waste my time, every day there's a daily video right here. While you're having your tea, your coffee in the morning, just watch the daily video, 1 video a day for 2 weeks. At the end of that 2 weeks, if you still think the Earth is a globe, which you won't, if you do, hit the question mark button and make sure, it's not answered in these categories. and then send me the proof and you win 3 Bitcoins, but don't count your money yet because the earth is flat.
So, do you have a minute or two? It might take longer than that. I know we're past our time, but I want to make sure
We can go long.
Okay.
We're good.
Okay. One of my biggest questions is, and you might have, I'm sure you've talked about this before, I know you have, but why is it and how is it that all of the governments of the world have come together to tell us that the earth is round, and they all agree? We have wars going on. We've got, the nuclear war that's about to happen, prayerfully it doesn't happen, but
Oh boy. Oh boy.
uh-oh.
All right, you're opening up a whole other rabbit hole. But forget that question. Why the lie? I'm going to explain it to you.
Okay.
But the videos in here are worth
Okay.
the cost of the app, which is $3.
Okay.
Okay. So why the lie? Who's lying? What benefit? Right? So these are the people that we see: the Council of Foreign Relations, the United Nations, the Bilderberg Group, Club of Rome, all of these guys. Right? These are the people that control our world that we see. These are the puppets of the real puppet masters, who I believe live beyond the shoreline of Antarctica. Okay? I think that there are, it could be fallen angels down there, who knows? Or out there. Right? So why the lie? And I was saying it a little bit before, because if you live on their ball field, you have to play by their ball rules. Right? If you believe, you're born, they commoditize us, they give us a birth certificate, they give us a social security number. This is all supposed to be good stuff, but this is literally turning us into a commodity, and then they trade us on the stock market. And then they give us their fake money, and they even rub it in our faces. All of our money matches the monopoly money. It's all nonsense. It's all just, it's ridiculous, okay? And so if you can convince somebody that they live on a ball, then you can convince them that if you breathe on grandma, she's going to die, right? So there's divine law, which is the law of God, common law, the law of the land, and statute law, admiral maritime law is the law of the sea or man's law. In order to convince a man to give up his divine rights and their common rights, you have to convince them that they're not divinely created in a divine world. That's why, right? Because if you believe that you came from a big bang and lightning struck and an amoeba had a baby that turned into a fish, that grew legs and found another sexy fish on the land and had a monkey that had a human, right? Then you'll believe anything.
Right.
You'll believe that you need stuff stuck in your arm because God didn't do a good job, right?
Yeah.
You believe that, this world is filled with toxins, okay? And the toxins for our minds, we breathe in toxins, we eat toxins, and we hang around with toxic people. I don't hang around with toxic people anymore. That's one thing I'm grateful for.
Yeah, for sure.
Birds of a feather flock together. So I just don't have room for them in my life, or want that toxicity in my life. With that said, I'm sure that you didn't get the pokey poke in the arm.
Did not.
Of course not, right? But some people did before they realized what's going on, and the most important thing is to detoxify your body, detoxify your mind, and detoxify your body. Flat earthers are very much into health. We're very healthy people. Now we know about our water, and we know about our thoughts, and we do all good things. So
good stuff.
There you go.
Man, I could do this. I've all of these other questions now that you've brought up. Some of them terrible, like the child sex trafficking. But the nuclear thing, the things I want to talk to you tomorrow.
Did I bring up nuclear bombs?
Did you, or can you?
Did I?
No, I did.
I don't think I did.
No, I did.
You did.
I did.
Are you afraid of nuclear bombs?
They're sure making
Are
me
you afraid of
it.
nuclear war? Yeah.
So
when you're afraid, what is fear? False evidence, fearing real.
Yeah.
What happens in your body? Every cell in your body picks up that vibration.
Yeah.
Is that healthy?
No.
Not healthy. So if you have the news on in the background, which sometimes people do, the news gives you cancer, so don't listen to the news. If you hear them Putin and Russia, Russia and Iraq or whoever, Korea, that could start a nuclear war. Even though you're oh God, I hope it doesn't happen. I hope Trump fixes all of this. But every cell in your body is now under distress or dis-ease.
Right.
Right.
Agreed.
Right. So I'm going to tell you that there's 3 ways to trigger people. You want to trigger people? There's 3 things, the most triggering things. Tell them the earth is flat. Tell them taxes are voluntary. If anyone's interested, you can email me. Or tell them nuclear bombs don't exist. What about Hiroshima and Nagasaki, right? Did you know that 3 days after those bombs went off, or before the bombs went off, there was video of soldiers stacking dynamite at ground zero? And then 3 days later, the trains were running, the sandwich shops were open, they were selling flowers on the beat, on the street, and everybody was back to work. Does that sound like a nuclear bomb?
No.
Nobody was allowed to take a picture or report, or they got put in jail, except one guy that worked for the Associated Press or whatever organization it was. Now, don't believe me. On my website, flatearthdave.com, there's a banner of nuclear bombs. Click it, listen to those episodes. Crow 777 Radio did the work for you, did the research for you, listen to it, and then you will know nuclear bombs aren't real. That way, the next time you hear a nuclear threat on TV, you'll immediately see a clown nose and clown wig on that person, and you'll laugh. And you won't be in fear anymore. And fear makes you sick. Right?
Yeah.
A cured customer is a lost customer in the healthcare industry,
Totally
and that's
agree.
the whole the sick care industry. Sorry, we're in the healthcare industry.
Right.
They're in the sick care.
Right.
So
yeah, I agree with you on so many levels. Now, I didn't know anything that you're saying about the nuclear bomb stuff, and I certainly will look into that. But I think one of the things, going back to gratitude, what I'm grateful for is, yes, I hear this, and you've got it, where people are just banging the drum constantly over the last few days, and probably will for the next couple of months. What I'm grateful for is, yes, I do have a little bit of that fear there, but I also am grounded in my faith, and it just helps to make it.
So
Go ahead.
grounded in faith is very important, but isn't it nice to remove some questions? Like, you can have faith and have all these questions, but guess what? Oh, the nuclear question, that's gone. Okay?
Agreed.
The asteroid hitting Earth, that's gone. Okay? We're not going to be hit by an asteroid, right? Every other day, NASA and their nonsense is unbelievable. They always have an asteroid that just missed the Earth, right? You remember seeing any of these? They have asteroids that it just missed the Earth, and when you look at these things, like on Thanksgiving and on Halloween, there was a asteroid that looked like a jack-o'-lantern that just missed the Earth, right? Right here, this one. This one I want. Oh yeah. A passing star shifting Neptune's orbit could wreck the solar system. Right? These are NASA articles. NASA enhances James Webb Space Telescope image with X-ray filter. This is one I wanted. I wanted to show you. Here it is. Here it is. Sorry. So this is NASA. Asteroid the size of 23 Borzoi dogs to pass Earth. What is that about? Asteroid the size of 22 tuna fish to fly by Earth. Where'd that one go? Oops, my images got lost. They have, here's another one. 90 elephants. That one sounds scary. 90 elephants. An asteroid the size of 90 elephants is going by Earth, right?
Yeah.
On Passover, an asteroid the size of 787 matzahs set to pass over Earth.
What?
This is a NASA article.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Massive asteroid the size of 69 American alligators will pass by Earth on Tuesday, NASA warns. Thank God it's not African alligators, because that would be worse, right? Right? 18 platypuses to fly by the moon, close to Earth. 18 walruses, that sounds scary. That could be big, right? Walruses are pretty big. I'd be a little scared, right?
So,
20 bald eagles. These are NASA arguments. Hot dogs, and we know what hot dogs are, right? 100 hot dogs to pass by on Monday. It sounds small, but why would they do that?
So it's very silly. Is it? In my mind, it's like, well, you're making it relatable. I don't know.
They're making it relatable. they're sucking in kids and weak minds. 100 Barbie dolls to pass by Earth on Thursday. That was right before the Barbie movie came out. Okay, I don't know. If I was NASA, I would take it a little more seriously.
Yeah.
I would do stuff like that because they're just trolling you.
So ridiculous.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
Please don't believe anything I'm telling you. Go research yourself. I've done the work for you. All of the stuff is here. If you try to research flat Earth on your own, they're just going to feed you garbage. Your mind's going to get tired. You're going to give up. Right? This $3 app shows you everything. It's got a friend finder on it. It's got a dating app on it where you can find like-minded, unjabinated people, right? You can find, people that are awake and aware. It's an amazing app. Does a million things, and just go read the reviews if you don't believe me.
This was so fun. I want to keep talking to you, but we should probably.
Okay, we'll wrap it up. Everything's at flatearthdavid.com.
Cool.
Just go there. If you don't want to get the app, that's fine. Scroll down. You'll see a big picture of me. It says Crash Course. Click that and turn off Netflix for a week or forever and watch those videos. And I always say it's scientifically impossible to watch 3 of those videos and remain a globe earther.
Fascinating stuff. Well, I'm really grateful that you came on. I had such a good time. I learned a lot. I will continue learning. I'm going to go and I'm going to do some watching, and I don't do Netflix anyway. I think they're terrible. But I do, I do.
Let me ask you a question before we go.
Yeah.
What's your greatest health hack, health tip?
Oh.
What's your greatest health tip?
Gosh, that's such
or
a
one of your
good
top
question.
ones. It's hard to say the greatest because they all do different things.
Yeah, and it depends on the person and all of the things, right? But really what I would say is taking the time to be still. So whether that's meditate, it's calming the nervous system, grounding, those kinds of things to calm the nervous system, because as you said, stress is the key.
Yes, false evidence appearing real. One that I really love is tilting your bed.
Oh, I heard you say something about that. Tell me about that.
So it's not folding your bed like Craftmatic. So this is your bed. I can't bring it. Hold on. Slack. Oh, you see that? All right.
Yeah.
You just tilt it so you're at a 5-degree tilt.
Head or feet?
Right. No, your head. Head up 5 degrees.
Okay.
Right. So on a king size bed, that would be 7 inches. A queen is like 6 inches, and smaller for. You just gotta tilt it up. And there's a way you can tilt your whole box spring. You can tilt the whole bed. They have frames and they have wedges that go underneath your just look up tilted bed. And when you sleep tilted, at first you feel like you're on a ski slope, and then by day 3 you can't even tell it's tilted anymore. Yeah. Mine's been tilted for years. But what that does is all of the fluids in your body when you're sleeping settle and stop moving. And that's where cellulite comes from, ladies. Okay? When you're tilted, everything keeps moving. Your digestion keeps moving, the circulation keeps going, and literally it reverses cellulite. It increases your digestion. It fixes your lower back pain, right? Now, if you have a bad back and it's doing okay, you can sleep on a tilted bed, and you can wake up in the morning and you go, oh, my back hurts, because you've been in therapy all night. They've been stretching out your back.
Sure.
And then after a couple of days, you'll be like, but I had back problems for 17 years, and the tilted bed is the greatest thing ever. And it is life-changing, and guess how much it costs? It's free, right? You can get 2x4s, you can get bricks, or you can go and buy an insert, or on Amazon you can say a bed coasters, to lift it up, and depending on your bed and stuff, it's the greatest hack ever.
So I'm curious about, a couple of things I'm going to say to this. Man, I could talk to you forever. So the sleep number bed, we have a sleep number. Also, fairly recently realized how terrible they are because of the electricity in them. So we have a sleep number that we turn off at night now. Anyway, so can you just tilt your head, or does it have to?
No, when you're tilted, when you bend your body, it literally puts a crease in your body.
Right.
You need your body to be
straight. So you got to go to the bottom.
Straight is lying on the floor, but head up.
Okay.
Animals in the wild like sleeping with their head up, tilted. And if you look at all the pharaohs and the queens in the past, all of their beds are tilted. People go, well, they were not as advanced as we are. bull crap.
Yeah.
They built stuff that we can't build today.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Have you looked into the old world?
I mean,
No,
not really, no. But
on the app, there's this button which is a griffin right here. That's the old world button.
Okay.
And there is amazing stuff. Old World Order, that's an intro documentary. I would highly recommend watching it. You can find it on my website, big banner. It says Old World Order. It's free. And then there's all these other guys out here. You got John Levy. You got My Lunch Break. Careful. If you start watching his videos, they're on YouTube. You can find them, My Lunch Break. You'll never come out of that rabbit hole. Because we are not at the pinnacle of civilization right now. We are literally approaching the end of the movie Idiocracy. Right? And it's unreal. Once you see this, you'll walk out in your own town and you'll look around and go, how did I never see this before? There's old world buildings in your town, right? San Francisco was here before Christopher Columbus got here, before the American Indians.
I heard this recently, and maybe it was you, I'm not sure. But.
Yeah, you gotta look into this stuff. And my favorite, My Lunch Break, he breaks it down like nobody else has. He's killing it right now. So,
cool.
So look into these things. But the thing is, I always tell people, if you want to become rich, invent something that makes people lazier, because people want to find the easiest way to do things. Yeah. And the easiest way to go through life is just to believe. Where do I live?
Connecticut.
You know it, or do you believe it?
Well, I know it because you told me.
So do you know it?
Well, I believe it because I believe you.
Okay, but you believe it. Would you bet your life on it?
No.
Okay, because it's a belief. Right. Now, we can't go and verify everything in life. You look at me, you're like, hey, why would he lie about that? It seems, he's got a little bit of a New York accent, blah, blah. You're like, you can put it all together and store that as truthful information. Everything you're told about the globe, you store it as truthful information. To go verify it takes time and effort. Yeah. Right? So, learning the truth of our world is not the lazy man's way. The lazy man's way is to go, I believe what I was told in school, and now I'm going to go watch a movie and entertain my mind.
Yeah. I agree. I totally agree.
So, I in school, I was pretty good at just getting good grades. I didn't care. I found the easiest way to get good grades, and that's all that matters, getting good grades. It wasn't about verifying anything. Just getting good grades and getting my diploma. And that's what people do. So I say, this world is way more fascinating than they want you to know. And last thing is, by knowing how God created this world and your position in it and your importance, lets you create your life to your full potential, because your thoughts create your reality. And if your thoughts are limited on a ball, trapped, lost in fear, you can't even imagine what you should be imagining.
I love that. It's a great way to end, because I fully agree. There's so much out there, and we have to do our due diligence to think outside the box. I think it's really important as well. So this might be the longest show that I've done, but I'm so grateful that that you were hanging out with me. This was really, really fascinating stuff. So thank you for it. I'm going to go and do some digging and have some fun with it. Maybe you'll come on again at some point and we'll chat about some other fun stuff. But grateful for all of that. Go download his app, check him out. Make your decision for yourself. It's what I tell my clients, my patients all the time. You got to make your own decisions, and you have to do your own research. I'm one person. I'm going to tell you what I know, but there's lots of things to still be learned. So you find me, Taste Life Nutrition. You can find me. Find me at Taste Life Nutrition in all the places, but fill out a free analysis on the website. I'll reach out to you personally. We'll chat a little bit, see how I might be able to help, or if I can refer you to someone, because my goal is to be a resource and help you any way that I can to meet your goals, whether it's health stuff, optimization, whatever it might be. So let me know if there's anything that you have questions about. Thank you again so much for joining us. You'll find us here every Thursday, 10 a.m. Mountain on KUHSdenver.com. What were you going to say? Go ahead.
Last plug is I will be speaking at the Anarchapulco conference in Acapulco in February. So if anyone's looking for a fun place to go with your family, with your loved ones, by yourself, to learn truth, nutrition, health, you know, flat earth, and everything else in between, it's an amazing conference. You can find it on my website, or in the shopping section on the app, and you get a discount with the code FEDAVE.
Cool.
Flat Earth Dave.
Does it list the speakers?
I think the speakers were just listed on the website, and they always add more, but
Okay.
it's really amazing. It's always an amazing conference, and
Cool.
it's you're in Acapulco. Well,
I
why not?
mean,
You know,
yeah, why
if you're
not?
going to go away for looking for a winter vacation, you go there. You literally you'll make hundreds of new best friends, right? Because everybody there is awake and aware and are beautiful people. So it's just being around that energy is phenomenal, and you know, when you go, you're just hooked. So
Awesome.
Antarctic.
Okay.
I know everything's on my website. Everything I'm talking about. Follow me on X, Flat Earth Dave X, but all my links are there at flatearthdave.com.
Perfect. Very good. Thank you so much. Again, good stuff. Good stuff.
All right, thanks.
See you
ya.
later.
Recording stopped.